This is Mouth Media Network, the business of being heard.
Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Demi Moore were responsible for the launch of Planet Hollywood. If Rob Schneider, Gary Busey, and Tara Reid were responsible for launching something, it would probably look just like this show. This is Funny People Talking.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rachel Farkas. I'm a breast surgeon, and I would rather scrub the toilets in my house with my own toothbrush than hear funny people talking.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Funny People Talking. I'm one of your hosts, Mark Rako, and directly in front of me, it is digital after all, is truly my good friend, a person I respect very much, Elsie. No, it's Dresden. Hi, Dresden.
Hey, Mark. Back at you, my friend. I'm so excited about today's show.
I am too. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those shows that the guest is not someone you might normally think of as a guest on this show until the end of the episode, when I'm guessing you'll say, well, that made perfect sense. So I love this. And also with us, of course, our good friend as well, and our producer, one name only, Elsie. Hi, Elsie.
Hey. Yeah. Hi.
Okay.
I just,
No, to Dr. Farkas, she is excited you're here, I swear.
That's like a 9. She's at a 9.
My thing is, I'm sitting directly in front of you two, Mark, and no.
I hope you're excited.
How's none of your business? Her cat is called None of Your Business. How's none of your business?
He's fine. He's good.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Good chat. Also with us is Dr. Rachel Farkas, as you heard earlier. She is a breast surgeon, but she's also well known amongst her patients for her use of humor, amongst her other talents, obviously. And it's something her patients often apparently talk about, is how much her humor has helped their healing. Humor and healing, 2 H's again. Here we go.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show. We're so happy. And it just so happens we're catching Rachel on a day where Dresden's been working with her with a lot of various PR and marketing and so forth like that from very early in the morning on the TV. And
I'm so glad that I was doing my hair at 4 o'clock in the morning, because you can't even see me.
That's right.
Oh, well.
That's right. She has a hair for radio.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good. It looks good, actually. Look how fast Dresden was trying to come to rescue. This is not your role on this show, Dresden, right now.
She almost came to my defense, but she did not.
I was forming my words, but what I do want to say is we have the pleasure, because obviously we can interact with each other best if we're on a video chat here, is that Dr. Farkas, Rachel, is sipping pink wine because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So you see this all the way through, girl.
Cheers.
Even think of that. Wow. Way to go. Nice. Congratulations.
Yep, I only sip pink wine in October.
I'm drinking beer because of Oktoberfest. Yes. So
good. And I have in September, but that's another.
Whatever.
Well, this morning when we did TV,
yeah,
it was kind of funny because the journalist with whom I'm friends was like, yeah, Dr. Farkas can come in and be serious at the 7:05 and the 6:40 a.m. And then he met her and he wouldn't let her go. He made her do all 6 interviews. He even made her take spandex off the shelf at the health club and spin. And he's interviewing her while she's spinning. So in other words, this is not your father's health journal show.
It's been quite a day. I'm very privileged.
Well, that's right. All right. Well, anyway, so happy to have you, Rachel. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to find all about the things that you do. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting conversation. But we're also going to, of course, have a Dresden moment as per usual. Elsie will, I happen to know what it is, an installment of Yum or Yuck, where she is a food to taste. And I have to say, it's something that you might not know. I happen to know what it is this time, and it's something you wouldn't normally think of having. So
it's one that you're glad that you don't have to share.
Yeah, this might just be for her. But anyway, we'll see. And of course, an improv game, which in this particular instance, I don't even know what it is yet. I won't know till we get there, and we'll see what it is. So that's making it up on the spot, right? But before we get started, very quickly, I have a question for Dresden.
Okay.
Well, Dresden, I did enjoy very much as we were getting ready for the show, and I saw you sort of, scooting around, getting ready to be on mic. You were singing a lot of opera, which I didn't realize you did. But the key was it sounded like you were doing it like you had been sucking helium and then singing opera. Which I thought was really interesting. Is there a particular is that a thing you do often or?
Well, yeah. I mean, so here's the deal. We all know the saying, it ain't over till the fat lady sings.
Oh no.
So just like I were black to make you think I'm a size 5, I figure that I'll do the helium so you think I'm a soprano.
Oh, that beautifully put.
And beautiful soprano, helium sucking soprano. And then when I sing, it's over.
So when if I said you sucked when you were singing opera, you'd be like, absolutely. That's exactly what I was doing.
There was a sucking motion involved, yes.
There was. Okay, on that note, Dres, tell me to start the show, would you?
Oh, he gets me every time. Hey, Mark.
Yeah, hey, Dres.
Do this thing.
All right, let's start the show.
From the Mouth Media Network studios in New York City, this is Funny People Talking with Mark Rako, Dresden Engel, and Elsie.
All right, everybody, we are here with Dr. Rachel Farkas and, of course, Dresden and Elsie and me, Mark, and you, the listeners. We're all here, all of us, in the same place, but not really, but sort of. On that note, let's get some housekeeping out of the way, shall we? And that is our very famous, I don't know if it's famous because I don't know if she knows about it, but we do an appeal to Tina Fey in every episode where we pray to the comedy gods, the hope that someday, some way, the great and powerful Tina Fey will make her way onto the show, write in, send a car by, send us pizza, a postcard, I don't care what it is, some way interact with the show, ideally on the show. We're just going to do a quick prayer to the comedy gods as we always do, just sending it out into the universe. Rachel, feel free to participate if it moves you. I'll lead it off. Oh, Tina Fey, comedy gods, please be on the show. We need you, Tina.
It'd be nice if you just reach out.
We love
Tina,
you.
Text, send a postcard with a
Tina, can you hear me?
Be cool.
Be on the show.
Tina, we're waiting.
Tina, can you
You could
hear
even call it
me?
in, Zoom, whatever.
Please come. It would make our day.
Aww.
What a beautiful way to finish. Thank you, Rachel.
That
That's
was
it.
lovely.
All right, that's it.
I did a little yentle for you, Dr. Farkas.
Did you?
Oh, you're dialing into my history.
Tina, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
There you go. Love it. Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's get to a big old, lots of fun Dresden moment.
And now, it's time for Dresden Moments.
Dresden, with your many celebrity experiences, which one to pick? But I'm going to suggest you pick that one.
Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm looking at my list. Well, I do have a note
I would
here.
just like to point out, Dresden has a list.
I made a list.
Awesome by
I had
itself.
to make a
Yes.
list because sometimes I'll forget that this is part of the show.
Yeah, I know. Ooh.
I would have picked it for you if you would have asked me.
Oh, darn it. All right.
As a Jewish mother, I like to control things.
Over here in the dark, all alone. So I just have this joke. I'm very bad. When I meet celebrities, I won't say this to their face, but I'll say it to other people. When I've done stuff with celebrities when they're very small. So I said it about Willem Dafoe. I said it about Bon Jovi, and I said it about Paul Simon. Willem Dafoe, I had to shoot a video with. Bon Jovi, I had the pleasure of hanging out with after a Saturday Night Live show. And Paul Simon hung out backstage for a show I was doing PR for. And what I say is they're so small, I could breastfeed them. And I said that in honor of our oncologist breast surgeon today.
Were you an accomplished breastfeeder?
At the time, probably not.
I'm just asking.
Honey, if
friend.
it's Bon Jovi, I would make it work. But
honey, I would make it work for Bon Jovi as well.
He's living on your
fight.
He's living on your prayer right there.
And for the record, I was unable to breastfeed, but I would lie and tell him I could just so we could make it happen.
Oh my God. So I bet, because so Tina Fey has this thing in her book, Bossy Pants, where she says she hates being judged, that she couldn't breastfeed.
Yeah.
Hated it. And because she had to work. That's why she couldn't breastfeed. She had to. And she said, my favorite was, though, I'd get my revenge when people would get in my adoptee moms' faces and tell them that they should have even tried to breastfeed too. And then the adoptive moms would destroy the evangelist. So that part of Tina's book made me giggle a little bit.
Yes.
I'm Team Tina all the way.
Yes.
Woo! So you're going to help us send good vibes. But I think we'll stop at breastfeeding today because, we don't want to use up all the Dresden moments. They'll end at some point. There's like 100, maybe 200.
I can't wait. We should have so many episodes of this show that we can exhaust.
And
by that point, you'll have new ones, right?
Yeah. So many. That's right. It's true.
All right. It is now time for it's an installment. It's an insertion. It's a scene, if you will, a little playlet, Yum or Yuck, where our producer Elsie, Rachel, she goes a lot of places, and right now it's a lot more through Amazon and mail or e-commerce, but she finds amazing and unusual food. Sometimes it's just crazy off the charts. Sometimes it's just things you wouldn't think of. But previously on the show, when we were doing it in the studio, we had the opportunity to actually share this amongst the hosts and the guests, and we could all enjoy. Unfortunately, due to social distancing and the fact that right now we're remote, we don't do that. So instead, just Elsie tastes it, tells us about it. And that's the segment. So Elsie, what you got for Yum or Yuck?
She loves bacon, she's cantankerous, and her cat's an adjustment. She's the producer, it's Elsie.
All right. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's Kaimana, so Kaimana. I don't know. Kaimana is the brand. Kaimana jerky. It's a tuna jerky. It's Hawaiian. I don't know if you got that off of the name. And it's a peppered tuna
jerky.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, I've had salmon jerky before, and I found it immensely distasteful. Personally.
Yeah.
I'm not a salmon fan, though. That may have affected it, but.
So I'm going to try this, but it's made with 100% wild caught tuna in Hawaii. It's really good for you, though. So there's that benefit. There's 23 grams of protein, sustainably caught, good source of omega-3s. Anyway, I'm going to eat it. So here we go.
The amazing thing about jerky is I don't know, Rachel, have you ever been in a jerky store through your travels or whatever?
I didn't know there were dedicated jerky stores.
There are whole stores, and all it is jerky and the like. And meat sticks and stuff. And there is if you can think of a meat, there's a jerky for it. Like there's going to be like elk jerky and snake jerky and alligator jerky and all sorts of crazy fish jerky and stuff.
On one of our shows, we had kangaroo.
It's just the other white meat, I guess. I don't know.
The kangaroo jerky was gross. All right. Well, I'm just going to tell you that this is super pungent. Super.
Oh, really?
Like I can hold it a foot away and I smell it.
Is it smell good or are you a little wondering?
It's like super fishy, super big time.
Are you sure you want to eat it?
If none of your business doesn't show up, I'll be shocked.
Are you sure you're willing to eat this? I don't want you to get
No,
sick.
I'm going to eat it. That's the show. Let's do it. So ready? I'm eating a piece. It's substantial.
Okay.
It's substantial. So I'm not eating like a little tiny like grain of rice bite. So I'm taking. All right.
A 50-cent piece.
All right. So ready? Here
Best
we go.
of luck.
1, 2, 3, go.
She's eating it. She's chewing it. She's still
Sounds
alive so
crunchy.
far. It did sound crunchy.
You know,
Is this like smelly cheese that you don't think it's going to be good, but when you taste it, it's amazing?
it's very peppery, and I think that's what saves it. But it's really fishy. So if you do not like fish, you're doomed.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's very strong. Very strong.
Gotcha. Wow.
I will say that I'm glad I'm trying it. I will not be purchasing it.
Okay.
But the aftertaste, by the way, is fine. You just have a little bit of sweetness and pepper. I think they put some brown sugar or something on this because that sweetness, I don't know where this come from. I will say this is like a 45 out of 72 chickens. It's not a yum. It's I hesitate to say yuck, but it's a yump. It's closer to the unk part of it.
Got it. All right. Well, tuna jerky. Who knew? So thank you very much, Elsie. That's a yump for that one. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, guess what? It's improv time right after this.
What if your idea of paradise is having some alone time? Do you still need 2 tickets? This is Funny People Talking.
As an American, there is no greater privilege and responsibility than choosing who will represent you and your family to determine the course of history, your lives, the economy, your health, your safety. On November 3rd, please choose to vote. To vote early, or if you need an absentee or mail-in ballot, please visit vote.org. Your future self thanks you.
It took every ounce of my being to not say that was my nickname in Cutler. But go on.
Oh, I think that could just be running the...
You've had so many, I hear.
What, tuna jerky?
I say it all the time. Yeah,
No, nicknames in college.
Boom.
By the way,
I don't know which part of that is the bad part. Yeah,
I had 2 bites.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. So it couldn't have been that bad if you went for a second.
So I don't know if I did that unconsciously. I just went and ate it. I don't know.
My husband is sort of a hoarder. And so I often find beef jerky in my purse. Like he'll stash it there, for later.
No, we need, that has to be in the show.
I'm sorry. I was going to throw it in there, but then you took a big bite and I didn't want you to hear about my hoarder husband.
That was cool.
How excited would your husband be to know that you just
outed him?
Let us all know. Yeah.
What's your husband's first name?
Jacob.
Okay. Hey, shout out to Jacob. Thanks for taking one for the team.
He's a good man.
All right, we're going to play a game that I just made up. It's called Overacting News Report. And the idea is that you're a reporter in the field, but based on a suggestion given to you before we start, you have to report on the story, but with whatever style of overacting that you are given. So it might be soap opera, it might be, bad amateur actor, it might be child actor, it might be, I don't know. Can you think of other ways people could overact?
The high school, the speech, when you give your valedictorian address,
there you go.
I love my high school because.
Exactly.
Oh, that just became a genre for us now. Thank you, Dr.
I was going to say it's bat mitzvah, but I don't want to be like the over Jew. At my bat mitzvah, I want to thank my mother and father for everything they give me.
The over Jew.
Do you know what's so funny? I was going to suggest a Jewish-themed improv game, but I was afraid that might not come off well, so I decided not to do it.
You have a Jew in your presence, so you can do whatever you want. It's like you get a jail-free card.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I wasn't afraid of offending you. I was like, I didn't know maybe that was over the line, but...
Cross it. Jump that bridge.
Cross it, okay.
Jewish cross.
All right, so, you know what? I've decided I'm making an audible.
Rachel's trying to do a sign of the cross, and it turned into a circle.
No, I starred myself. Star.
This is the Jewish mother news reporter, where everything is being reported on as a quote stereotypical Jewish mother. All right, so the key is that what's being reported on isn't necessarily something that you would normally report on. It may be something a little smaller, perhaps something a Jewish mother would
Now, let me just jump in for our guest. Rachel, do you want one of us to do it first, or are you ready to be our first improviser?
Oh
for the
no,
evening?
I've been practicing all my life for this. I took a speech class in college that I almost failed. I am ready.
Okay, so
Bring it.
And now, an improvisational comedy game.
Dresden, why don't you give Rachel a suggestion of what her news story is, and I'll pitch it to her from the anchor desk.
Your daughter is going to wear to her prom a white
I love how
dress.
you're jumping into the Jewish mother accent here a little.
Did I do it?
You did it
All
a
right.
little bit.
Your daughter is going to prom, okay? And her dress does not match her date's tuxedo.
Okay,
and
there we
she
go.
Wants a new one.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to pitch it to you from the newsroom. You're out in the field as a live in the field report, okay? So here we go.
Can we adjust? I'm just going to adjust it. I'm going to adjust what you tell me.
That's fine. Okay. Breaking news, everybody. Just a moment. We're breaking into our story here. We have a live report from the field from Rachel, our reporter live in the city. She has a very interesting breaking news report. Rachel, can you hear us? Tell us what is happening.
I can hear you. I'm very concerned.
Okay.
So I just want to tell you that my daughter, Sarah Grace, was wearing a white dress to her prom. And she forgot that she was supposed to match her date. How could she do that? He was wearing a blue-colored tuxedo. A blue-colored tuxedo. Is that what boys wear nowadays? I don't even know. But a blue-colored tuxedo that did not match her white dress. Now, what happens? What happens if they get married? How am I going to show this picture at the wedding? I mean, is that right? Why is she doing that to me? Why is she doing that to me?
Rachel, is there any type of emergency response on scene?
Oh my God. So I sent my friend Sylvia over. You know, I can't go myself because if I go myself, then she'll know, oh my God, my mother's here. What an embarrassment. So I sent Sylvia. Sylvia's going to go and she's going to put a blue shawl on her. And when she wears the blue shawl, then she's going to match the tuxedo. And then we're going to take an emergency picture. And when we take the picture, then I can put that up at the wedding.
Oh, no. Okay, and one more. We got to laugh out of Elsie. This must be killing. So Rachel, one more question for you. Is it seem that there's going to be any lasting damage from this issue?
Lasting damage? I think she's trying to kill me. I'm her mother. This is a photo album. Do you know how important a photo album is to a Jewish mother? I can't. If she ruins my photo album, this is like, I'm going to have to re-edit all of 2020. I mean, 2020 is a shitty year already. Now, what am I going to do? I don't know. I just don't know.
All right. Well, thank you so much for reporting in on that, Rachel. Live in the field with an extraordinary developments. We'll get back to her later in the evening as they continue. Back to regular programming. Oh my God! I see no reason to play the rest of the game. Honestly, that was just like the winner. But congratulations! Thank
Actually,
you.
I think we should pass.
Go ahead, Dresden. You try to beat the Jewish mother.
Listen, you with your 72 medical degrees. I have a theater degree, and you're going to shame me.
Listen,
in
if
front
the
of all
way
the
you went up it,
people.
I'm gonna give you a suggestion. Watch the doctor give the actor
Mark,
a suggestion.
the doctor has just taken over the podcast.
You up the game by being the Jewish grandmother.
Who is?
Oh my God.
Me?
Dresden, if you want to up the game, you go grandma style.
All right.
Oh, grandma
All right.
style. Okay, so Elsie, why don't you give Dresden the story she's reporting on from the field, and you can throw it to her from the anchor desk, huh?
The grandma who found out that she just had to host a holiday because someone else's home was quarantined.
Oh, no.
So this is last minute.
All right, Elsie, throw it to her from the studio.
We're here at WKLF, and we just found out that this grandmother, who we don't have the name of yet, has just found out that she's got to host the high holiday because her family's home has been quarantined due to COVID, and she's got no time to prepare for her 25 relatives coming over imminently. So take it over.
I'm sorry, Dresden already has the face on. Go ahead, Dres.
No.
Do I speak now?
Yeah,
Now?
you're
Is
on.
it on?
You're on
Is
the
it
air.
on? Hello. My name is Rachel L'chaim, and I am in my living room because I can't go anywhere else other than my room for living room, right? Of course, right. Because I'm here. Because for once I was going to get a break. Kafil to this, kafil to that. I was going to get a break, but no. Quarantine. He had to go to freaking Maryland. No, he didn't need to see that shiksa. No, he could have easily just hosted and had the dinner like he said. I don't know if I can talk anymore. I'm so sorry.
So,
Excuse me, the cleaning lady. Excuse me. Excuse me. Tell them to set the table. The good silverware. All right.
so, how much time do you have left to prepare before the first guest is expected to
I
arrive?
only have 48 hours. You know how hard that is to put together a meal for 12 people?
Do you have any help?
I got my manservant. I got some other people. But you know what? If my grandchildren, if they loved me, they'd be here. Not doing the tic-tacs and the TikToks and the Snapchats and this whatever. No, they'd be here with me. But oh, Yent, I love you. Where are they? They're not here for me. I gotta go. I'm sorry. Excuse me. That's the wrong China.
All right. We've got about all we can right now, I think. So we'll possibly check back in later. Hopefully she'll be okay.
Dresden. Yay, Dresden.
No, Rachel didn't laugh. Rachel didn't laugh.
did laugh.
Rachel, oh,
I saw her
she
laugh.
did one golf clap. Did you see? No, it was one little soft golf clap.
I was being respectful of my Jewish grandmother.
Oh, well, there you go. Beautiful. Rachel, nice comeback. All right. Elsie, do you want to partake?
Sure.
Okay. Rachel, you want to give Elsie a story she's covering?
Elsie, just so you know, she's not going to laugh no matter how good you are, but go on.
Oh, I'm going to laugh. All right, Elsie. Your only son has decided that he's never going to marry because he wants to dedicate his life to the pursuit of... It doesn't matter. You can make it up. Your child is never going to marry. He's announced that there will never be grandchildren. He's your only son.
All right.
And Rachel, if you want to play newscaster and throw it to her from the studio, if you want to jump in on that.
So breaking news, Elsie's son has decided that he will never marry and never have children. He's breaking this to his mother right now as we speak. And now we're going to hear how she feels about that.
Yeah, so I just found out my son is never going to get the heck out of the house. It's only an apartment here in New York City, so it's already close quarters, and I'm rather, fit to be tied because, quarantine's already driven me up the wall. And he decided that he's not going to go finish school either. He's only got 2 credits left, which is ridiculous. So I asked, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm going to work on the computer. I'm like, doing what? Making what money? He's like, well, I live with you, Ma. It's good. It's all good. And I was like, no, not all good. I'm not cool with this at all. And I said, so who's paying your health insurance? He's like, you, Ma. You are. I'm like, no, I'm not. That's not how it works here. You got to get a job. And he's like, well, but I have allergies, so I can't go outside. It's like, well, that's do a telecommuter job. I mean, you're on that damn computer, do your job. To get a job where you don't have to see people or be outside. It's but stay in your room and stay away from me. And he says, yeah, but, I can still go out and get you some Burger King because, that's my favorite dinner. I was like, Burger King? I don't feed you Burger King. What are you talking about? And so I'm sitting here and it's like, for the love of God, I mean, this is just, you're just catching me as I'm catching this news and I'm already like, what? I can't do this for the rest of my life. So, I don't know. I need callers. Callers, call in. Give us a 1-800 number. I need help.
All right, and scene. Thank you very much, Elsie. Well played. You prevailed despite no discernible Jewish accent.
It was just New York.
Just
New
New
York
York.
chic.
It's true. It's I pick on Elsie. It's just what I do. Okay. Fair is fair. I don't see I could follow anything that any of you did, but should I do a Jewish mother or a Jewish grandfather, or what should I do?
Well, gender roles rule, so why don't you be the man?
Okay, sure, whatever you want. And Drez, what's my story?
Your story, my friend, is that you were just so spooked by all the Halloween decorations at Target. You just want to go in and buy socks. And there's Halloween decorations everywhere, and you just can't take it anymore.
You want to throw it to me, or?
Yeah. Hi, here I am at WJEW, and we are going to Fiskus Bergenchamp, who is at the local Target, and he's very concerned, and apparently there is a ruckus in the candy aisle amidst the costumes. Please, I toss it to you, sir. Please tell me what is going on at our local Target.
Yeah, I'm Fiskus Bergenchamp here on location at Target, and I don't know what's going on here. It's all and I see too much of the Halloween. What is this? Halloween, it's Hanukkah, it's all the H holidays all at one time. I don't know, from Murgatroyd or whatever. It's a thing. And you know what I think? I think they're all trying to kill us. That's what it is. They're going to murder us.
Excuse me, are you speaking to all the high caloric candy, or are you near some costumes that are quite disturbing?
Are you questioning me? Are you asking me?
No, I'm wondering what is
because I don't know who
most,
you think
sir.
you are. You know, I come from a generation of survivors. I know when a question is being asked and when it's not. So just you pipe down there, Missy.
Are there any scary costumes like witches or bats or vampires? Is that what's bothering you,
I
sir?
did see someone dressed up as that Miley Cyrus or whatever she is. That was pretty scary. But because I believe she is the downfall of civilization here. I think I'm starting to leak into a little Archie Bunker, so I better be...
I came in like a wrecking ball.
That's right.
And,
So, Fiskus,
yes.
maybe you should go to the express aisle and defer your report
No
this
problem.
evening.
Miss, where's the express aisle?
All right, that's it. Thank you very much. I don't know if that was good or not, but it was fun.
With all due respect to all our
That's
Jewish
right.
friends,
Well,
we're
we
sorry.
do. And thank you for paying for
I
the show.
accept your apology on their behalf.
That's okay. Thank you. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Jewish representative. All right, a quick break, and then we are back.
Representative.
Thank you. It's only, you hear that back when you listen to the show later, you know.
You have no idea. I can hear it through the wall.
Okay, so we will take a quick break. When we are back, it's going to be with Dr. Rachel Farkas. Right after this.
Don't ever forget, we're the ones who knock. This is Funny People Talking. And please, for the love of all that is holy, subscribe to the show and leave us a damn review and a really, really good rating on iTunes. Pretty please? Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Rachel Farkas. Rachel, I
By the way, one day with or without me, you have to bring up the topic of the Hanukkah bush. You know, the
Yes.
Christmas tree, but it's the Hanukkah bush. Go ahead.
the Hanukkah bush, yes. Do you want to just talk about that now? I mean, you know.
No, just stash it for later.
Stash it, the Hanukkah bush. Got it. Okay. Rachel, you are a surgeon, but you are also a healer, which I know is kind of the same thing. You are someone who helps women with their confidence and their identity. You are also someone who humor plays a big part in your healing process, either by design or just that's an
I think it's by
extension of who you
accident.
are by accident. So my question is what really drove you to become a doctor, and how does where you are right now with all of your doctoring, how does that reflect what you thought that would be when you first set out to do that versus
Let
where it
me
is
just
right now?
specify, in case you didn't understand the question, with all of your doctoring.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You just wanted to mock him. I understand.
You know,
It's
it's
all
funny.
it
Right,
was.
right
That's all
now,
it
in the
was.
point of the edited show, there was a point when Dresden said something and we cut her out. And no,
I'm just surprised you don't mute her at some point and like let her just. And she thinks she's talking, but it's not actually happening.
I know it. It's so funny.
Do we have like a serious moment?
Yeah, let's go back to her compassion. Let's talk about the compassion from Dr. Rachel
and all the
Farkas.
doctoring that's going on.
Faking the big E is what we call it. As a doctor, you have to go.
What does that mean?
You don't know. So as a physician, you have to go through all these courses, and some of them are a little bit more inane than others. And one of them is like a practical sort of live demonstration where you have to talk to a patient, explain a complication, what went wrong. It's not a real complication. It's just, in medical school, it's sort of a role play thing. And so we used to call it faking the big E. The big E is empathy. Right? Because empathy, you either have it or you don't, right? And so most people who go into a field of medicine, unless they're going to be, someone who doesn't interact with patients, usually empathy is innate, right? Like you can't teach empathy. You can try. So we always called it faking the big E, because you go into that test and you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But it's so overdone, right? Because empathy is something that you have. It's just in you. And if you don't have it, then you should have a job in computer science like Elsie's son.
Oh,
and so were you?
Callback.
Good callback. Yeah. Were you? Just like you stand up on stage and you sing a song when it's time to sing a song, and a good voice comes out. You're like, oh yay. Were you pleasantly surprised that you had empathy?
I was. I thought I did. So are we there? Are we talking about it? Because I can just tell you how
we're here.
How I came to this.
Sure. We're big E.
We're faking the big E all the way. I don't think I had to fake the big E. When you go to medical school, or when I went to medical school, so I'll tell you how it went down. And this may be, sort of a version of it, but everyone's got a version of how they came to their decision. I had a Jewish mother. My Jewish mother I'm one of 4 children. I have 2 sisters and a brother. And so my mother, when she had her son, said, he's gonna be a doctor, because that's like the Jewish mother's dream. My parents were not physicians, but she always had this dream of her son being a doctor. And it's not true. I mean, from a very young age, I remember her buying him that little doctor onesie. And I was like, what is this shit? And what's funny is that he was the youngest, and all of her preceding children. So myself, I was the oldest. My sister, who's a year younger than me, actually 11 months. And then my sister, who's 2 years younger than her, we all went into the medical field. I'm a doctor. My sister's a cardiologist. My younger sister's a nurse. And I think we all kind of did it because my mom was real focused on my brother being a doctor. My brother actually really didn't want to be a doctor. I think he just had to do it to satisfy his Jewish mother. So I knew I liked medicine. I liked science. I like things that make sense. And then once you're thrust into this medical world, you got to figure out what you're going to do, right? So every girl says, I'm going to be a pediatrician because I'm going to take care of little babies, right? Because that's our fascination. But that didn't work for me. And I loved surgery. I loved the mechanics. I loved the way you could use your hands to fix a problem. I didn't want to give someone a medication and wait 3 months and say, oh, now you're better. I like the immediacy of fixing a problem. Come in, fix problem, leave. So that was really satisfying. But on the flip side, you might have noticed that I really like to talk. I like to talk, not to hear my own voice. My husband says that that's not true. I like to interact. I like that human interaction. And what I do, breast surgery, is literally 50% talk and 50% surgery. Breast cancer surgery is full of options. And it's unlike any other cancer operation, right? So you've got cancer in your colon's coming out. You have cancer in your breast, you've got at least 3 options that I can think of off the top of my head for any given cancer, how we could do it. And there's so many variables: big breast, small breast, mastectomy, lumpectomy. We're involving the plastic surgeon. We're not involving the plastic surgeon. So many options. And that really is just a place where I feel so comfortable in educating a patient and letting them choose or navigate their own path to a surgical decision.
And you often include the whole
Dresden
family.
likes to talk about that. I make it a family affair. So my consultations are loud and boisterous, just like me. There's always a family member who sits in left field, listens to the whole conversation, and then at the end says something like, I don't know if I agree with all of this. And I'm like, oh my God, are you the patient? But I love that. I love that it's a family ordeal. And I love that it's something that's intimate. It's not your colon, it's your breast. It's part of your person. It's part of your identity. And no matter how many women will come to me and say, I don't care about these, you know what? They do. They care about it in some way because it's a part of you that sits on the outside that you really have to make a conscious decision of how you're going to treat it. And I love being involved in that process.
Now, I find it interesting, and I don't mean this as I'm not calling you out. I don't mean it as a criticism.
Call me out.
No. But it made me think that all you've talked about so far is women. Do you exclusively treat women with breast cancer, or do you treat men as well?
So only 1% of breast cancers in the United States are men. So it's a really small population. Mm-hmm. That being said, I treat both men and women. And you're right. Thank you for calling me out on it because I do have male patients. And I give the same TLC, if you'd like, to men as to women in a different way. So traditionally, male breast cancer was treated with mastectomy, meaning man has breast cancer, we cut off man's breast. Well, you know what? We don't have to do that either. Men can have a lumpectomy, meaning just cutting out the tumor, just like women. And as you know, if you think about your own breasts, and you can look down right now and see what you got going on there, men have some breast volume. And so it's not necessary to cut off the whole breast and make you look asymmetrical, lopsided to treat a male breast cancer. So thank you for calling me out on that. You are completely correct.
So I've had the opportunity to read some testimonials from Dr. Farkas' patients. And that's why I wanted to invite her on this podcast, because they were saying it was the scariest time of my entire life. You got me through it. And your sense of humor was so appreciated. And, here it is, scariest time of their entire life. And yet you bring humor to the table. You see that that's important. Can you talk about that a little?
So, in thinking about it now, I kind of feel like it's how you open your improv show. I have my standard routine that I go through with patients. There's a very important educational process, but I really feed off of what's going on in the room. I feed off of the family. I feed off of those little pieces of information that they feed me. I don't just sort of get up there and tell jokes, although I would love to, because I think that that's kind of fun. I try to read the room and give them what they need. And I think it's great. I mean, I know that when I'm meeting with a new patient, I often will come to a point where they laugh or they smile, and I'll take a break and be like, oh, I saw a smile. See, it's not that bad. What I do in my practice is I try to look for silver linings. I try to look for those moments where patients feel like this cancer diagnosis is not a punishment, but is an opportunity to improve upon their own body image. And so if that's with reconstruction, so you may not know this also because, you're looking down at your man boobs right now, but a lot of women are asymmetrical or, have breastfed and sometimes preferentially best breastfed out of one breast. And so one is bigger than the other, or gravity has brought those nipples down towards the belly button. And so breast cancer is an opportunity to resurrect, to bring those breasts back to their 21-year-old glory. It's to remove the breast tissue and replace it with implants, and they can have, perky breasts, or to have an autologous tissue reconstruction, which means that they're taking tissue from their own body, either from their tummy or their back, and recreating breast tissue and making it look more beautiful than it did when they started. Silver linings, I think that that's important.
Also, Dr. Farkas teams up with a particular plastic surgeon by the name of Dr. Steven Vega.
So Dr. Steven Vega is my partner. And we've been working together for several years, but I recently joined his practice. And the reason why it was a natural fit is because he is a superb plastic surgeon that never compromises on cancer care. We have what I call separation of church and state, which means I remove the cancer and he does the reconstruction. And not once has he ever said to me, "Oh, Rachel, don't do that," or "Don't take that tissue," or "Don't remove that skin." He always says, "You do what you need to do for the cancer, and I will make this patient beautiful." And he always does. He always makes the patient whole. And that's his skill set. And I think that what's really important is, when a patient or a woman or a man is choosing their breast surgeon, you want to choose someone that you're confident in, someone that's going to get you through the journey. Because again, it's not like a one-hit kind of operation. This is a journey. Breast cancer is something where you need a team, you need a professional team, and you need a team that is competent and a team that gets along with one another. So Stephen Vega and I have been working together probably for the better part of 5 or 6 years, and he gets me and I get him, and we can make a patient look whole again. And that's the important part, is to get a patient to feel confident in their body and BTW, remove the cancer.
Oh, BTW. Yeah. That's
side point.
Side point. Yeah. A little byproduct there. On TV, and I don't believe this happens as it's portrayed, obviously, but on TV all the time, when you see surgeries done in dramas, medical dramas, there's a certain frivolity in that operating room where people are talking personally and they're joking and they do things to either keep themselves engaged, or they keep it light, or they play music or whatever. So my question is, one, at least in your own personal operating room, your own personal experience, how far away from the truth or close to the truth does that seem to be? And second of all, to whatever degree it does happen, how perhaps do you use humor and your own personality to keep yourself centered, to keep the people that are working with you centered and alert, and also be able, it takes a toll on people to constantly cut people open and know that there's a lot of tough times for people and suffering, and especially when things don't go in the direction that you hope that they'll go, and so forth, as much as there are wonderful victories. My question is what's that like in the operating room for you? And
I'm so glad you asked that, because I wouldn't have thought of it. I have 2 customs that I feel very strongly about. So the first thing that I do is every time a patient reels into the operating room, either I'm accompanying them or maybe I'm there already, I always do this. I say, "Welcome to your party. This is your hotel suite. We're going to rock out. What would you like to hear?" Because you're right, there's always music playing, or there usually is. What would you like to hear? And it's not like I'm catching them on the spot. It's actually a conversation that we have before they're under any type of anesthesia. So we usually have their music playing just because it's on my mind. And it just happened last week. I had a patient who came in for her post-operative visit. She didn't have cancer, but she had surgery with me. And she said, "I had the most wonderful time at my surgery." And I said, "Go on." And she said, the operating room lights, you may not know, they kind of have this like psychedelic kind of disco ball quality to them. And so when she came in, she picked up on that and she said, "Oh my God, that's a disco ball." The nurse in the room picked up on her saying it was a disco party and threw on some ABBA Dancing Queen music. And all of us just started singing and doing the little, shuffle. And she remembered that. And she said, "My surgery was at a disco. And all I remember is you guys singing to me as I went to sleep. And I felt so comfortable and loved that the next thing I knew, I was awake and my surgery was over." So that is my custom, is I love catering to the patient as they go to sleep. The other custom I have is that I always talk about the patient at some point during the operation. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Some operations are long and tedious, and yeah, we do listen to music and maybe we chit chat. And I think that is, that's commonplace in all operating rooms, but we always have a moment or few moments where we talk about the patient. And I always like to acknowledge something about the patient, whether it's their story, whether it's their workup, whether it's some weird quirky thing that they've got going on. I like that the people in the room know something personal about the patient so that they feel like they identify with them, right? Because identifying with someone who you've just met is challenging. And a lot of times the patient comes in kind of groggy. And so I like that the team knows something about the patient that lets them connect. And I think that helps them.
Yeah.
It helps them. We want to do the best for our patients, right? No one ever comes to work and says, I'm going to half-ass this today, right? That's just not enough, right? Every time I come into the operating room, I'm giving that patient 100%, but that's me. And so I want my team to be in the same place. And in order for them to be in the same place with me, I've got to give them something. And so that's what I give them: a little story, a little snippet, a little something that we talked about in the office, a challenge the patient had, something that they overcame, and that connects them back to the patient, which makes us a more effective team.
Wow.
I absolutely love hearing this. I've been affected by it, grandmother, mom. And I think most people, know somebody. However, it definitely affects all of us women because we need to get mammograms. And with COVID, maybe some mammograms have been missed. So if you were going to take us out on some advice with this podcast today.
So ladies, the tatas, or whatever you call them, and everybody calls them something different.
Ben and Jerry.
Those are yours. That's cute.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Listen, I think we could have a whole podcast about your breasts. Your breasts are very important to me. But
I know.
You have mentioned
I'm looking
his
at them
breasts
right now.
a couple times.
They're fascinating.
So if there's, fetishes, we're good.
We're emphasizing male breast cancer. So, ladies, COVID is not an excuse to skip the mammogram this year. In fact, COVID is what is going to motivate you to get on the phone and call your doctor or call your radiology facility and schedule your mammogram. You might not get in tomorrow. You might not get in next week. But guess what? You've got the whole month. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Put your appointment in the month of October. And guess what? Every year, you will go in the month of October. You may be delinquent 1 month. You may be delinquent 1 year. But just remember, every woman over the age of 40 needs to get a mammogram every year. Okay, now the older ladies are saying, I'm too old to get a mammogram. Incorrect. You are not too old. Unless you plan on dying in the next 5 years, you get yourself to a mammogram facility and you get a mammogram, because that is important. Now, for all you ladies who say, my breast tissue is dense, I don't need a mammogram. No, you do. You need a mammogram because mammograms show calcification, and we can't see that on any other imaging modality. So if you think you need an ultrasound, well then, hooray for you. You need a mammogram and an ultrasound. And the radiologist that you work with will guide you in the proper direction for your breast density. Get a mammogram. Dresden, did you get a mammogram this year?
Before everything shut down, yes, I did.
Good girl.
It's in my family, so definitely. But, I not to make it lighthearted, but getting a mammogram is not fun. And I don't want to look down and see what's happening. So I want to start a movement. All radiology labs where they do mammograms to have posters of Cabana Boys on the wall. So I have something to look at.
How about Jon Bon Jovi?
Don't look down at my squished tata. Any age. I'll take gray-haired, short-haired John. I'll take long-haired, curly John. Yeah. Jon Bon Jovi
Jon Bon
posters or
Jovi had
Cabana Boys.
any inclination he was become some sort of poster boy for breast cancer awareness. I just don't see he saw that.
I was just thinking of him in his leather pants and thinking that would distract Dresden from her
Stop, girl.
mammogram.
I would ask her if she could do it again.
That, mammograms came about in the 80s, and we know that COVID now has sort of really impacted the number of women who've gotten mammograms. And I would hate to start seeing palpable, meaning tumors you can feel. Like, we don't want to go back to the 80s before mammograms. We don't want to start finding things that are big and bulky and ugly. We want to be able to do sexy breast cancer operations. And in order to do a sexy breast cancer operation, we really need to find these tumors early. And to find them early, we need everybody to get a mammogram.
Dresden, you sort of, the two of you were jokingly hitting on something, but it occurs to me, is there typically anything that happens in? That's right. You pour that pink wine.
I'm pouring.
You pour
it.
that
Salud.
that pink wine, girl. You pour
You know how
that
you go
wine.
to the dentist, and sometimes when you walk out, not only do you get a toothbrush, but you get a lot of times a lollipop, or at least the kids do.
No, you don't get a lot.
No, I'm saying.
I don't
Are you still going to the pediatric dentist?
He guesses, he touches my tummy and guesses what I ate for lunch.
Oh my God, that's a whole other podcast, and I really don't want to go there right now.
My doctor, when I was a kid, that's what my doctor did. He would feel our stomachs.
Say no and go and tell someone you trust.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Oh my God. That was perfect. Okay, so anyway, and he would tell us,
that was awesome.
You had peanut butter jelly, and obviously you talked to my mother beforehand, and we thought it was magic. Like, it was crazy. He's the best doctor ever. Anyway, my question was, in all,
I'm dying to see where it's going.
Going to get a mammogram sucks. It's uncomfortable. It's cold. You're scared you're going to get bad news. No one's thinking. I'm sorry. I believe too few. No, let me just finish the question.
I know where you're going.
Okay.
But you can finish if you want.
Well, I just want to finish to make sure. But I'm excited that you're already there. The thing is what can be done. I'm not saying we're going to solve it right here, or what is happening that you've seen that's cool, that aside from the motivation of save your life, let's go with a group of women and go out to lunch afterwards, what can be done to make that there's a sort of Pavlovian cause and effect? Because kids will go to the dentist because they know there's that sucker at the end, or you know what I mean? Like, what can you do to create a sort of positive?
I'm trying so hard not to be naughty. All right, so here's the thing. No one is going to give you a free breast lift or
No.
I think that our imaging facilities in Rochester have really tried to lighten the mood.
Okay.
They have beautiful aesthetic in their waiting rooms. They have fish tanks. They sell jewelry. They sell all sorts of stuff. And I think that they're really trying to make it better. What I would say, and October has started, so my friends have started getting mammograms, and they have some findings that are abnormal or things that require further imaging, and they're already freaking out and, signing their wills and bequeathing all of their children to me, is you've got to go into it the mindset that you're doing something preventative, right? Like you said, you're going to the dentist to get your teeth cleaned because you want your teeth to stay in your mouth for a long time. You're not going to get a mammogram to find cancer. You're going to get a mammogram to make sure that you have a clean bill of health for another year. Don't psych yourself out. Don't feel like this is the mammogram that's going to find cancer.
Right.
Oh,
Go
I like
in
that.
thinking,
That's a great way.
Yeah.
this is going to be another
you agree?
year
That's good
of good
mindset.
health. I'm checking off a checkbox in my annual screening. I'm doing something that's going to give me a clean bill of health so I can walk out and feel confident that I've got another good year ahead of me.
That's true. I love that so much. Although I will say, how fun would it be if there was your own stand-up comic in that room and they're just like, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? Wow, tough room. It's like, and they're just cracking jokes with you the whole time and you just be laughing. Can't move.
Listen.
No, you can't because you can't
and
move.
just to be fair, even though Dresden hates her mammogram, I find mine totally okay. Everyone has a different experience. So you've got that one friend named Dresden who's like, oh, mammograms suck. They don't always suck. I think mine is fine. She's Debbie Downer.
I just wanted to look at Bon Jovi posters.
You can look at whatever you want.
I deemed mammograms to hell.
Right. And now we've added the new Bon Jovi suite to our office. It's inspired by one of our guests.
Oh, John.
I know. Oh, John.
We're halfway there.
Oh. Other breast.
You can have whatever you want, but I'm taking
money.
John.
Can you do that in between breaths when you finish the one breast for the mammogram, then you start playing We're Halfway There?
We're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Yeah.
All right.
No. She doesn't want to say to her cancer patients.
No, that's
love everybody.
That would not be good.
No,
So we got to change the words.
I've been finding
Change the
humor in
words.
this and everything, but I appreciate the
No,
message, and of course,
I think there is humor in it. Like, for instance, I'm going to throw this out there because I've been thinking about it since the beginning of the podcast. So you gave your little Yentl pitch, right? Can you hear me? Whenever I do a bilateral mastectomy, which means the woman has both of their breasts removed and she doesn't have reconstruction, the thing that I do afterwards is I usually wrap them in an ACE bandage to keep it nice and snug because that feels comfortable for the patients. And I always think about Yentl wrapping herself so she could become a man. You remember that?
Boy.
Yeah.
And like some patients will get that analogy and some won't. And, although I've disclosed my superb Jewishness on this podcast, when you meet me in real life, maybe you don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I want to say, hey, did you see the movie Yentl? But I don't want to
Can't you just, as you wrap them, just go, Papa, can you hear me? If they get it, they get it.
Papa, can you hear me?
Then do you tell them the story about the Hanukkah bush?
Oh, the Hanukkah bush.
Mic drop. That's it. We're done. Rachel, you are in Rochester, New York. Dr. Rachel Farkas. How can people connect with your practice or follow you on social media or however you like to connect?
I've never done this before, but watch this. If you want to see me on social media, my Instagram name is Rachel L. Farkas. If you want to find me on Facebook, I'm Rachel Farkas. If you want to call my office and set up an appointment, 585-383-4040. Otherwise, you can show up at my house, but I'm not telling you where that is. But if you go on social media, you'll find it. I love talking to people. I love talking about experiences. I love sharing my experiences. Like Dresden, I have a strong family history of breast cancer, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. So listen, breast cancer is highlighted in October, but is important all year round. If I send one message, it's get your mammogram. If I send two messages, it's that no two breast cancers are the same. And so don't feel like you're coming to a cookie cutter doctor because I am far from it. I want to tailor your treatment to you. I want to do what you want, and I want to make it a positive experience.
Great. Oh, by the way, I find it very interesting that you're full-blown Jewish, and it looks like there's a cross behind you the entire time you've been talking. So it's kind of hilarious for me.
It is funny.
Listen,
it's hilarious.
We believe in a higher authority.
Jewish. It's
of course.
Okay.
The American Medical Association. No.
American College of Surgeons.
That's it.
Oh, I thought
American Society of Breast Surgeons. Society of Surgical Oncology.
Dr. Rachel Farkas, you and your pink wine have been a delight, and we appreciate you so much and all the wonderful messages that you've given. You were a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being on Funny People Talking.
You guys are fabulous, and thank you for the opportunity to share or talk about my favorite things.
Awesome. All right. Well, good luck to you. Continued good health to you, as well. And that is it for this special breast cancer awareness episode of Funny People Talking. For Elsie.
Thanks so much.
And Dresden. Papa,
get your mammogram.
I'm Mark Rako. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. And by the way, stay funny.
That's it? That's the end of the show? Boy, oh boy, what a crock. This was Funny People Talking.
No portion of the content may be reproduced or published without the strict written permission of the producers. Connect with our show at Funny People Talking or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. I'm your announcer, Peter Coleman. Thanks for listening.
This is Mouth Media Network, the business of being heard.